Welcome to the Johnny Dell Football Academy podcast on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and hows of the game by talking through and dissecting game film and diving deeper to explain why the X's zig and the O's zag. I am Adam Marino, joined by Mr. Johnny Dell, and we are reminding you, as always, the most fun way to watch is on YouTube, where we go live. There you can comment into the live show. Be sure to hit the notification bell and turn on your notifications so you can be a part of the conversation. We also stream live on Facebook and X. Also, the audio versions are always found on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Now, if you are live with us in the chat, it's probably because you are subscribed, you've hit the notification bell, and turned those notifications on. So, when sharing with your friends, be sure to let them know. We also love to hear from you outside of our live show. Email us at johnnydellsfootballacademy@gmail.com, and you can always check out the website jfa49.com, as it is the most fun way to support the channel. Also, the way we boost the chat and boost the algorithm is to type out hashtag JD49. Hashtag JD49 in full effect. Many of you already taking advantage of boosting the algorithm for your fellow faithful. The reason we do that is we want as many 49er fans to see this come up on their YouTube. That, honestly, I'll be honest, that's how originally I came into contact with this content. Was the algorithm was being boosted. I was looking up something on the 49ers and probably with Lombardi or something, and Johnny Dell came up on the showing next, and I clicked on it and I was like, what is this? So years ago.
All right. Algorithm for the win. Yeah, just remember that when YouTube, they're not watching this video. They don't care that this video happens. They just care that they're able to make some ad sales. But what tells their ad sales that videos are making more money is when people are actively engaging with the content. That tells them that they don't just have their phone set up for their child to watch, that they are eyeballs on the content and are actively engaging. That is why the chat is the number one way to boost the channel. It's not just about boosting it so that we feel better about ourselves. It's so that other people can experience the same glare off of Adam's forehead that you can, and hear our ridiculous nonsense about the 49ers and Saints in New Orleans and the and the battle between the premier talents of Mac Jones and Spencer Rattler, allegedly.
Return of the Mac. So yes, let's get into
Mac is
that. If we have time, we'll talk Packers Commanders, but I'd rather dive into my favorite football team in all the land, the San Francisco 49ers. So I'll say this. Couldn't have come at a better time, the New Orleans Saints, the trash team that they are. And I'm not saying about the fans or like the human beings. I'm just saying the football team is not good. That's all I'm saying. I'm not.
No. Look. You can't start a preview.
They're not catching strays
like that. No.
They're not catching strays.
Here's the thing. If we lose to the Saints,
then we're the Aints.
Then you've set it up as like, we lost to a trash team. This team is terrible. No.
So, injuries. I'll just blame it on injuries.
Yeah, but people are sick of that, Adam. Like, people are sick of blaming things on injuries, and I'm sick of the injuries too. But even if they're a trash team, we should still beat them. My son is staring at me.
We're favored.
I may have to dip in and out on this. We'll see. It'll only be for a few seconds at a time. My wife's out of town, and my son is sitting across the room here with me. He keeps looking over at me every time I say something. He's wondering who I'm talking to. But he's over there doing his puzzles, and he's just having a great time. He's 3. But he's a good little guy. But anyways,
no, but do you agree? Look, this is the time that you want to play the Saints, is when you're down and it's new. Like Brock, next week we may get used to life
I don't
without
think
Brock
you
for
wanna
a little
play
bit.
anybody when you're down. Like,
But
it
I'm
doesn't
just
matter.
saying, but
I
okay,
get what
do you
you're
wanna play
I
the
get the
Eagles? Do you wanna
well, I
play the
get what you're
Packers right now? I
no,
mean,
I
come on,
Adam, I
come
get
on.
what you're saying in the sense of if you're gonna face a team very shorthanded, it is better to be facing the Saints
Or the
than the
Panthers or
Rams, you know?
yeah, that's
Like,
all I'm
I
saying.
get that. I understand that. I'm just saying I would rather not face anybody shorthanded. And I'm not
Well,
convinced yet. I'm not convinced yet that Brock Purdy will not be playing. I'm just not
oh,
convinced.
are you what?
I'm not
No.
okay, here's why is because um are we really certain that we're going to go into this game with with only the quarterbacks that are behind Brock Purdy right now?
So what, Gannon, right? Or is that who we're looking at?
See, we don't even know who the third quarterback is because they've changed the quarterback so many times. That's my point. Is if we're going to talk about, what is going in there, it's uh they don't even have him on the active roster. He's on the practice squad. You
Right.
have Carter Bradley who's on the practice squad. They may elevate Carter Bradley. I don't know.
Well, here's my
Um
thought. Brock would be the emergency. Like the absolute emergency. But like, yeah, Quiffleball, I agree with Quiffleball. He's out 2 to 5 weeks. He's out.
right. That is what Ian Rappaport has been saying. John Lynch also came on and said, I'm not going to rule him out for Sunday, and he's week to week as it is. Kyle Shanahan came out and showed he has as little interest in understanding actually what an injury is as ever. Um, and
I,
so, like,
I would make a bet with real money that he is
Lynch
not
didn't
playing.
actually rule him out. He said it's a really long shot. That's what he said. Like, he pretty much ruled him out, but he didn't. Here's where I'm at is with everything that happened with Christian McCaffrey last week. I mean, this was like maybe he'll play, he might not
This
play.
was
Limited
different.
participant,
No.
did not participate. I'm not certain because again, you're looking at Mac Jones and then a practice squad elevation of Carter Bradley, and
So, Johnny, let's
that's who
break
we
this
got.
down. No, but let's break this down. This is why, in my opinion, in chat, you tell me if you're with me or not. In my opinion, the reason this is different is
Let him know you're not with him.
McCaffrey was dealing with something that was preseason. This is before the season started, and it was an injury from the past as far as like a flare up. Whereas Brock, he got
It wasn't
tackled
a
out of
flare up.
bounds, and he said it was well, okay. But he's had issues, previous issues, McCaffrey has.
Right.
With Brock Purdy, he got tackled. It was well documented, the actual
Y
play
Yeah,
that
I know.
he got hurt.
I showed it yesterday with stats. Like, I showed the play where he got hurt. His toe did get kinda pinned up underneath him. Like, it was very clear to see. And, like, he hasn't been officially ruled out. That's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
everyone's saying I look, I've listened to everything. He hasn't been officially ruled out. I'm not saying he's going to play. I'm just saying I'm not 100% convinced that he won't be out there. Just because again, we lost the NFC Championship game because you didn't have a third quarterback. Because you didn't have a quarterback in that game. Are we really believing that going into this week, it's Mac Jones and Carter Bradley and that's it? I'm not sold. And Mac Jones
Callie,
has been dealing with his
Callie.
own injury.
I'm with you, Callie. And Collator says Shanahan just doesn't like to tip his hand, and I do agree
No, I
with
get
that.
that. I get that. But again, Mac Jones is still, I don't think he's still 100% from the injury he had in preseason. So he's got issues. And because there's no more dangerous job than playing quarterback for the 49ers. It is literally like a 280% injury rate with us. Going back to the 2022 season when Brock came in, Brock was our third quarterback. I'm just not convinced that if you're going into this game, you're going to give a game away to New Orleans because you don't have a functional backup quarterback. I'm just not convinced of that.
Well, let's do this.
That's the side of it.
Let's pretend that 100% Mac Jones is going to play and finish the game. What are your thoughts on Mac Jones based on what
Martinez isn't on the team website. Everybody's saying Martinez, and I've seen that, but he is not on the team website. So I don't know. Maybe they didn't update it.
They need to hire us to run the website. If I was running the website, I'd be on
during training camp. They were on it, man. They were on it. Yeah. Oh no, he is on the practice squad. Adrian Martinez is on the practice squad. Carter Bradley's on the reserve injury. I was looking at the wrong spot. I'm sorry. That is my bad.
Johnny made his one mistake of the year. Let's not give him a hard time about it.
Oh, that's like my 18th mistake already. Like, don't oversell it.
You're in midseason form?
Look, yeah, I'm in midseason form. I have been daddy daycare for a couple days. Okay, so
yeah,
there. I know I heard Kyle's comments. I'm not convinced because it's not been officially ruled out.
Look, Johnny,
I think he's saying
you're the only one that's not.
Adrian
the only one.
Adrian Martinez might even actually reinforce more that Brock might suit up on Sunday, just because, again, if you're going to bring somebody in, if you're going to have somebody as your backup, they should know the system. They should be able to run plays. I'm not convinced Adrian Martinez can get in there and call the plays.
Chat, help me out. Chat, help me out. Just berate Johnny with comments. He's not playing.
Look,
he's not playing. I guarantee you, he's not playing.
I'm not saying he's playing. I'm saying I'm not actually convinced.
We're all saying we're convinced.
Here.
We're convinced.
You can be convinced all you want. I am not convinced. Adrian Martinez, how many practices has Adrian Martinez had running this offense?
We are convinced.
When you can't answer chat, I'm looking directly at the chat. I'm not looking at Adam. I'm looking at the scrolling. I know you're 12 seconds behind, but I'm looking at you. How many snaps of this offense has Adrian Martinez taken? Are you going across the country into New Orleans against a team that you definitely should come out of there with a win? You cannot lose to this team. Are you going in there with Adrian Martinez if something happens to Mac Jones when Mac Jones has already been hurt this year in preseason? I don't think so. I'm not convinced of that. You are bringing in like a Nate Sudfeld. I don't know if Nate Sudfeld is on a practice squad somewhere. Like, you're bringing in one of those guys. I'm going to look this up. Is Nate, because if Nate Sudfeld wasn't available, or if he was available in any way, I would say the 49ers need to go get him and bring him in like now.
Look him up. So I'll get to the super
I'm looking it up. I'm looking.
All right. Lisa, shout out to Lisa. She says, don't be surprised he takes that pain shot and does what Warner did all year last year. Yeah, and playing quarterback, I just think is a little bit different. Although, the hits that Warner takes, I get it.
The last transaction on Nate Sudfeld's page is that he was released by the 49ers on August 21st. There's no other transactions regarding Nate Sudfeld. Nate Sudfeld is out there. Are we really serious? I mean, maybe they'll sign him on Friday, like today. Maybe but that doesn't make a lot of sense. If you were you have Nate Sudfeld sitting out there who has ran your system, who has practiced your system.
Crappily.
You're telling me,
I know,
Adam, we're talking about the third quarterback here.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. I agree with you.
They have to be able to go in there and call the plays and make sure people are lined up correctly. Know the names of the formations.
Right. No, I agree. I agree with all that.
Adrian Martinez has been with his team for like a week, or 2 weeks. It's been an extremely short time. If you were confident that Brock Purdy is not playing, Nate Sudfeld would be in the building now. Like you would at least have him on the practice squad, at least, and he's not. That's why I sit here and think like this doesn't make sense to me that they're so bullish on him not being out there. If that is the case, then this is this is bordering on gross negligence by the 49ers, that you would be have Adrian Martinez.
Moody. They've been negligent.
I'm just saying, like, to have Adrian Martinez as the next person up. No, like,
I agree
I'm
that
not
is not a good
that.
move. I agree that's not a good move. I think we're all convinced though he's not playing. We got some more super chats. Cayman's Island podcast. We will win. In fact, I feel like it's Kyle's spec to take mid quarterbacks and make them rise to the occasion, i.e. CJB and this guy named Jim G. What say you?
CJB, we're talking about Beathard. CJ, I will say, the CJ Beathard one is not a great example. I love you.
NM is Nate Mullins.
I love you. Yeah, I know. Or Nick Mullins. Did you say Nate Mullins?
I did, in fact, I think say Nate.
Nick Mullins.
But I did mean
the legend that is Nick Mullins, that is best known for the one-handed catch to George Kittle because the pass was off the mark and George saved his rear end. The one who single-handedly threw the game away against the Eagles in 2020. Or no, that was 2021 that he threw the game away against the Eagles, I think. No, it was 2020. I'm trying to remember the years now. It all starts blending together. It was 2021, I'm pretty sure. But that he had that horrible game. Lisa said, don't. Thank you for the super chat. Says, don't be surprised if he takes a pain shot. Yeah. I think you're talking about a cortisone
we
shot.
Went over that
in the anti-inflammatory.
Well, you were looking up.
Well, you said we got some more super chats, and you said multiple.
Cornelius.
I was freaking out. I was freaking out.
No. Jump to I love Kyle, but the injury reports are suspect. Was the next super chat.
It's not showing up on my end.
Oh my gosh.
Look,
oh no.
It's not showing up on my end. I wish I could put it there, but it's not. It's not on my end.
Well, let's show him some love. All right, let's show him some love. Thank you for the super chat, Cornelius.
Yes, thank you.
He does say, I love Kyle, but the injury reports are suspect. That's what he said.
I mean, they are. Like,
yeah.
I mean, they just are. And again, the thing with Christian McCaffrey last week, that was injury report cinematics at its finest. Like, that was a dog and pony show with Christian McCaffrey in his warm-ups.
Today is a dog and pony show. Today,
look. That's what's happening around here. It's Saints week. It gets a little crazy.
Saints week.
It gets a little Mardi Gras up in here. So that's what's happening. But no, it was a dog and pony show last week. This is Christian McCaffrey going to play. It was a walkthrough on that Friday. They went him out there. They had him out there with the head trainer kind of half-heartedly watching him as he did every calf exercise possible, and then was listed as a did not participate at all during the walkthrough. Then the next day, heavy full participant in the walkthrough. That was showmanship in its finest. Like, that was all dog and pony show. That was a military parade, like whatever you want to call it. That was everything. That was the old Soviet Union used to fly the same jets around in a circle 40 times to try and show they had 40 times more than what they had. Like, that was this sort of situation. Like, you're just presenting something to be one way. I am not convinced that they're not doing the same thing with Brock Purdy, because you have two different quarterbacks that you have to prepare for if it's Brock Purdy and Mac Jones. And they are doubling that workload for a New Orleans defense that I think is a little bit better than people are maybe giving them credit for. Their overall passing efficiency was number 16 was middle of the pack in the league last week. Like, you're trying to get every advantage against their passing defense that you can. You don't want whoever is the quarterback to be under a lot of pressure. Your offensive line was struggling with that. You're down wide receivers. You need every advantage you can get in the passing game. So I'm not convinced that this is just not a psyops.
So did you see this super chat from Lisa?
I think this is fake news, Lisa. I don't think he flew to Germany to get the PRP injections and and whatever that they did there with Brock Purdy. They shot him up with the Captain America serum, because it came out of Germany. That's what we know, right? Or it was used in Germany.
Hail
That's where it
Hydra.
started. According to Joe Johnston's take on it, who most people forget that he was the lead storyboarder on the Star Wars movies. That's who directed Captain America. So, and did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and the greatly underappreciated The Rocketeer.
Welcome to the Johnny Dell football rant about history. This is our show today.
Look,
Where Johnny goes off on a
ADHD is in
tangent.
full
It's
form
a real thing
today.
Well, I'm
ADHD is in
trying.
full form.
Look, I am trying. We are 20 minutes in. Can we please talk about Mac Jones now? Is that okay with you?
The Mac truck?
Your Highness. Your
All
Highness.
right.
Can we please talk about
if
Mac
we
Jones?
if we go back to that draft, it was very clear the 49ers were trading up to get a quarterback when that happened. I was telling everybody that it was going to be Mac Jones coming up to that draft. And I said, and everybody in the world told me it was going to be Justin Fields. And I said, there's no way Justin Fields runs this offense. And people will still argue with me about that. I get Justin Fields can make some incredible throws. He has incredible athleticism. He was such a poor timing quarterback. And that being such a big part of this offense, they didn't want to work with him at all. I don't think so. I think he probably had a 3rd round grade for them. For them. Remember,
for them.
Guys that grade for the 49ers are going to be graded. How do you do in our system?
Right.
So
that's fair. So let me ask you, Johnny.
Well, and so like leading up to that draft, I said, and the reason why was because I felt, one, Mac Jones works really well in a timing offense. He had ran a very, very similar system there at Alabama during that time, and he could stand in the pocket and make tough throws. That he had a high level understanding of the game, and his play style was very similar to Jimmy G at the time, and then now Brock Purdy. And that there's not like the issue that we saw in when the offense had to start shifting back from Trey Lance in 2021 to Jimmy G in 2020, or it later that year when he got hurt, 2022. That was a big shift, and it took the offense a while to kind of get back in its groove, because it was a very different, the runs were all different. Like the runs, not all different, but there's like all these different, the timing of everything's a little bit different because you're running all these zone read fakes in there and elements added to it. And that was a rough transition. And I thought, and going back to before, even with Jimmy G, that when Jimmy G went down and you saw how things kind of went from there, I was like, the play style, it was just hard. You had this weird dysfunctional kind of thing going on. And if you were looking at that, you could draft this guy and it would be like, okay, this quarterback goes down. We're not changing the entire offense. They can run the offense as we've done it to the next guy. Mac Jones made sense. And as far as we know, the reason they were comfortable trading up as early as they did into number 3 was because even though they hadn't finished the eval on Trey Lance, they were comfortable that no matter what, they could at least get Mac Jones. And so, by default, worst case scenario, we get Mac Jones, and they really liked him. So I'm not as down on Mac Jones. A lot of people people say he's a statue. Okay, whatever. That we've seen a statue in this offense before and won a whole lot of games. So, I don't think Jimmy G was running away from a whole lot of people. And we're still able to win a whole lot of games. I get it. The roster construction was different then. You didn't have the lack of receivers that you have now. But if we're talking is able to operate this offense from a mental standpoint, I think Mac can do that as well as any backup quarterback around the league can run theirs. So I am confident that we can get a win with Mac Jones. I'm not confident if he's like the starter for 8 weeks. But going into this game against New Orleans, don't rip up your puzzle. He's ripping up his favorite puzzle. This is not good.
We can put it back together.
No, like he's ripping the pictures off of the puzzle.
Oh,
bro, that's not how the puzzle works. Anyways, sorry. But the pieces of the puzzle for the 49ers
Nice.
is that it's if you can have a strong running game and that offensive line plays better than they did week 1, they were just really not gelled. Dominic Pooney has got to hopefully another week of rehab and regen on his knee is going to do him wonders. That was the worst game I've ever seen from Dominic Pooney
Yep, you
by a
said that
wide
in
margin.
your video.
So
Let me give a quick pitch to your video because you definitely mentioned that. Remember, this channel is about the whys and the hows of the game. And Johnny, now that the season is going, puts together a video that came out. I believe it was a few days ago. Believe it was Tuesday. Is usually when he shoots for that. So make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you can see those videos. And now that we're in full swing of the season, make sure that when you see Niner faithful that you take your phone and show them the channel and say, hey, check out this video. And the most impressive thing you can show is you can go to the most popular videos and you can see how many views. That's what I do because that makes it like legit, right? When someone sees there's like 40,000, 30,000 views, something like that, and you're a Niner fan and you see that, you definitely are like, oh, well, let me see what this is. And then you see his content with the X's and O's and how he explains things and how we could have had a touchdown on this play if this guy comes around the swing and hits his block. Things like that is what I love seeing. So make sure you see that. Johnny, I want to ask you about when you were talking about when we were looking at Mac Jones. Think back to that time, you personally, were you on board with the thought of Mac Jones? I know you're an Alabama fan, you live in Alabama, you saw him a lot. Were you on board at the time, or were you like, well, I like him, but geez, that's a stretch? Where were you at back then?
well, back then there was some Alabama bias.
That's fair. That's fair.
So I mean, look, and and to be fair, you look at what Mac Jones did with that team. I mean, it was awesome. Like he was very impressive with that team. Now, on the other side, he had some incredible weapons. Really, especially looking back on it. I mean, you're looking at Jerry
Devontae.
Judy, Devontae
Okay.
Smith.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, they had
Yeah.
some
Those were
big
good.
time weapons.
Yeah.
Uh, Jerry Judy was the third receiver on that team.
Good Lord.
So
Yeah.
just remember that. Like they had some big time weapons there. And he had a
Yeah, they had the
very
guy who
strong
got
run
hurt.
game.
Who's that receiver that went to the Lions, I think, that got hurt? Didn't he
No, I'm
have
not
him?
talking about him. It was because remember he also had Calvin Ridley. Um,
Gosh. My
and
gosh.
so yeah, like he had some serious weapons there at Alabama. So that was the knock on him coming out was that it was all that offense was all made because of his incredible weapons. And so people were just not convinced that Mac was the real deal. So like I'm not I was one looking at going, yeah, but the things that Mac Jones was able to do were really impressive. On the other side, though, you know what we saw in New England was that I mean, he had a tough road there in New England, very tough in the sense that you are coming in and expected to be the heir, the second coming of Tom Brady,
They gave up too
without
easy. Yeah,
without a strong team around him.
right.
And it was like Bill Belichick was coming in and expecting him to be Tom Brady in year 6 and to be able to understand everything from the mental side of the game that Tom Brady was able to do by year 4, 5, 6. Then that Mac, bro, don't tear that up. Oh my goodness. Okay. Um, that 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 Tom Brady had, and it was just an unfair situation. Plus, if you remember back when, like, why did the 49ers not sign Tom Brady coming off the 2019 season? Because that was a discussion that they had, and Kyle passed on Tom Brady. Why? We always have to go back and ask why and the context of that. Tom Brady was coming off of the worst season he had in like 9-10 years because that team had no weapons. Their offensive line had been gutted through free agency. I mean, there were articles out there, and I remember clips of Tom throwing the ball and it landing on grass because the receivers weren't there. Like they were either getting bumped off their routes like crazy, or they were just not out at their spot on time. Tom looked really poor that year. It was actually what fueled his run with the Buccaneers, because Tom always had a chip on his shoulder about everything, because everybody said Tom's cooked. Like, it's over. It's time to walk away. Yes, I did just bro my son. But anyways, that was the discussion, because that Patriots team was so gutted on offense. And that was the situation that Mac Jones walked into. And it was so poor for him. I think there's the possibility that you give Mac Jones this opportunity, and he's going to play really well. Now, there should never, ever, ever be a quarterback controversy between Brock Purdy and Mac Jones. I don't care how good Mac looks. Like, Mac could throw for 480 yards against the Saints, and I would still not sit here and say, well, maybe. No.
Well, I'll say it was against the Saints.
Yeah. But do I feel good about Mac Jones? Yeah. I mean, the guy has taken a lot of flack. He is not an untalented quarterback. He's not a quarterback who doesn't understand offense and doesn't understand defense. Does he understand it in the minutia detail of a Tom Brady? No. I'm not saying that. Does he process it the same way? No. I mean, he's got to play faster in this system. That was one thing that I saw during preseason. He wasn't operating as quickly. Hopefully, now he's been a little bit more comfortable in the system and seeing how it runs, that he's going to play faster. But I'm not sitting here, grinding my teeth, worried that Mac Jones. But Mac Jones, I need you to go out there and don't throw 3 picks. That's what I need you to do.
Yeah, and he's capable of winning games against the bottom 15 teams of the league. Excuse me, and I think that's what we would say is the Saints are in the bottom 15. So I don't know how many weeks it's going to be. That's the issue, is when you get in that 2 to 5. I feel like we're in the same way of not thinking of how we're like it's in limbo, is the same way that we felt in limbo in the offseason before, when we're like, is Trey, what are they going to do with Trey? What, remember that bad feeling? That's what I have now, just in a different sense of 2 to 5 weeks. He's not ruled out, like we just said, for 10 minutes. Like that, I hate that feeling.
No, I said he wasn't ruled out, and you all argued with me that he's all but ruled out. That was let's not have revisionist history here, Adam.
Okay, then that's exactly what happened. But still, all that to say, I don't like that feeling, and then it's out there 2 to 5 weeks. Like, I just don't like it. I just don't. And when it's your quarterback, we thought, okay, we signed our guy. We weren't going to feel that way anymore. And week 1 already, right after week 1, I should say, we're feeling
no.
like that.
Am I in any way, do I feel no knots at all about Brock Purdy being hurt now? And absolutely not. When it's a toe injury like this is probably going to linger for almost the entire year, because it's never going to truly heal. Like, you don't have once it gets to a point of being played on, at that point it's maintenance. Like, they're not looking for improvement on injury. They're looking at just maintenance on injury. That's why they do the cold plunges and all that stuff. Like, there's a lot of data that shows actually all of that, the ice baths and all of that stuff really doesn't actually increase healing. It just increases it maintains performance. It increases performance. And that sounds counterintuitive, but there's a difference between when you're in the off season and you're trying to increase healing, and during the season when you have to manage performance, because you don't have time to just say, well, we're going to stash a guy for 7 weeks. And then he's going to be able to come back and be at full performance. No, it gets to a point of, can they play at a baseline performance? And then we're going to maintain that. And so, like, the regen that they're doing with Brock Purdy right now is not about, we're trying to make this heal to 100% as quickly as possible. It's, can we get him to a certain level of play performance and then go from there. And so this is going to linger for a long time. It actually delays healing a little bit longer in a lot of instances. And so, like, I worry about, what does this mean in November? What does this mean in December? Are you going to hear like, well, it was this, and that actually really affected my play down the stretch last season? Like, are we going to hear that this coming off season? Like, I don't want to hear that, but that's what my concern is. So yeah, it's very frustrating to have your team be the number one most injured team last year, the number one most injured team in training camp, and then suddenly be now seeming like the number one most injured team. Now, I will say, watching that Thursday night game last night, it seemed like players were dropping left and right in that game. The Commanders lost Austin Eckler for the season, it looks like, with a torn Achilles. That's what I thought it was the moment he went down, the way he was pushing off of his foot and then collapsed. I went, ooh, that looks like an Achilles. And then they also lost their defensive tackle over there. He went down with, looked like a knee injury or something, probably long term. And then, I mean, it was just guys going down left and right in that game. So I can't just say this is a 49er issue. But yeah, the other issue that Brock is dealing with, I'm pretty sure he's got a sprained shoulder on his left shoulder, seeing the way he was driven down into the turf. Again, I talked about it with the Jordan Mason stuff last year, that I have played on that exact same playing surface, and an intramural football game, I separated my shoulder on it, landing on that, because it's a concrete pad. They have the turf, and then they have little rubber pellets that are all in that that artificial surface, and those rubber pellets are supposed to dampen the impact. But when you have direct, hard, focused impact like a shoulder, you can see the top of my son's head over here. He's very interested in what is going on the screen. That it can very easily separate a shoulder, and so that was what it looked like. What happened with Brock Purdy? He was driven into the turf very similarly, in a very similar way that we saw Jordan Mason have that happen to him last year.
Yeah. Injuries, I get, are part of the game. I just don't like being at the forefront of it every single year where we're in the top 3. So I don't like that. I do like that there are 2 young Dells here. Young, I say
Yeah.
figuratively.
I mean, we
2 young
can
ones,
say he's
maybe
young.
1. Yeah.
He lost the shoes. So sorry, I was trying to grab his shoe. He was very distraught about his shoe.
So I'll give a couple reminders while you're finding the shoe. Remember,
I got it.
to
Good. The shoe is
like
back
and
on.
subscribe. Okay, like and subscribe. The notification bell, guys, is the key to all this, because content is just flying at you. So Johnny, I wanted to see if we could shift gears to defense. Speaking our defense against their offense, not one of the top, offenses in the league, obviously, but I'm curious, are there certain players that you're looking at, or like, because I got to be honest, there just isn't much that scares me. I mean, it's an NFL game, anything can happen, but what do you see on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, for the defensive side of the ball, we can say, their offense isn't that great. You look at their overall rushing efficiency, it was number 11th in the league last week. Our overall rushing efficiency, number 26. So, first thing you have to do against them is you got to be able to stop the run. I mean, big time. Like that is priority number 1, 2, and 3. And on top of that, I think Spencer Rattler is a sneaky better quarterback than we're giving credit for. If people remember, I came away from the Senior Bowl the year he was there, and I was very impressed. I remember I was there with Wayne Breezy, and I leaned over and I said, "There's something to this kid, Spencer Rattler. Like, he reminds me of Brock." I really was impressed with the way he was processing and throwing, and confident in his reads, that he was moving things real quickly on his reads. And he was, from what it looked like to me, head and shoulders above every other quarterback there at the Senior Bowl. And then when the Senior Bowl happened, he was MVP of the Senior Bowl. And I know that there were some issues last year. Didn't have some great games, some games that looked really ugly. That Saints team was also trash, and they lost their entire staff because of it, like because of how that team looked. And then when Robert Saleh was asked about him, people would be like, "Yeah, it's coach speak. It's coach speak." I say, go watch his initial reaction, the gut sense reaction that he had when he was asked about what is this about Spencer Rattler, and he went, I'm telling you, that kid's going to be a household name by the end of the year. There's coach speak, and then he goes on to saying, he's a really twitchy athlete. He's got a heck of an arm. He's confident in his reads. He's very decisive in his reads. He's got great accuracy. Like that. That's the coach speak stuff. When a guy is just, like you could see the how Saleh was impressed, and he was like, it was very much you don't roll over and on this kid. Like there's something there. And when you look at how he handled the end of the game last week against the Cardinals, that was a heck of a throw he put to what should have been a game tying touchdown. And his receiver dropped the ball. Like I would just say, don't sleep on Spencer Rattler. Yes, their offensive line is not great. You got to get pressure there, but we can't walk into New Orleans and sit here and say, well, it's Spencer Rattler. He's going to throw for like 100 yards. We're going to do all this stuff. It's going to be, I'm going to say, be careful on that one. I'm not convinced of that. So yeah.
Yeah. There'll be 3 or 4 plays where you're like, wow, I don't believe he did that, because we don't know much about him, and he'll do that, and you'll be like, whoa, and it's going to happen, every game, I'm sure. I don't know if he'll be a household name, but maybe he's not as bad as what we all think.
Robert Saleh.
Yes, and I
now
am
I will say this needs to be a game. CJ West, Alfred Collins, this is going to be a great opportunity for them, because that offensive line is a little hurt. They're not great. I would say Gray Zabel showed exactly what we thought he was going to be coming out of college. I said it all off season. He was the number one offensive lineman, bar none, for me coming out of the draft, and he showed that exactly on Sunday. I'm really irritated that the Seahawks got him, because that was a huge addition to their offensive line. And so I want to see Alfred Collins and CJ West against a lesser NFL opponent, kind of give him a little bit better of a runway and get him out there, and let's really see them get after him.
Yeah. What else are the X factors in the game, as far as, like, do you want to see us over a certain amount of rushing yards? Do you want to see us get at least 2 sacks? Like, what is something, special teams for me is what I would say. What is something that you're looking for overall?
Don't miss 2 field goals.
That's what I'm saying.
That's something I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the Jake Moody experiment is over. We got Eddie Pinheiro in there, who has like the 4th highest field goal percentage.
Yeah. And I like what he said. I like what he said, where he said, hey, I'm here to do a job and make kicks, and I know if I don't, I'll be out of here. Like, all right, bro, go do your thing. Like, what else do we say to that?
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
I mean, obviously Jake Moody's confidence was shot. I mean, we believing that he just never really had the ability to make a 27-yard field goal. Dude had the yips. I mean, it is like when a golfer gets it in their mind of being so like in their head about, don't slice it, don't hit it in the water, don't hit it in the sand. And where do you hit it? In exactly those places.
And in that analogy, the golfer is coming off of a leg injury. That if you look at at his percentage of kicks made before he went in for that tackle, and then after, the numbers are alarming. I mean, I think that's what happened, is he was never back to normal after the injury. He was always trying to overcompensate. Once he started missing, that's where it comes in with the yips. I think that's what happened. We'll see what happens in the rest of his career. The numbers don't lie, pre-injury and post.
Yeah, I understand the pre-injury numbers. I think those those look a little bit better than was because we had such bad red zone issues that year. He was kicking a lot of short kicks.
Yeah, but doesn't matter, dude. He missed some short.
Yeah, no, it does. It does matter. I mean, when
he
you look at
missed some short kicks.
you can say, well, no, I get that. I'm just meaning like you can say, well, Jake Moody was one of the best kickers in the league. I'm not convinced of that. If a guy is 99% and it's all things 40 yards and less, I'm not as impressed with that as a guy who's 95% and half of his kicks were 45 plus. I'm just not.
But then when he misses later and there's some short ones in there, that's my point. And he did make some
Right.
larger ones. It's not that he didn't make any.
I'm not
He
saying he
did.
didn't.
Well, all I'm saying is he made some small kicks and some big kicks. Then he got injured. Then he missed small kicks and big kicks. What else is there to say? I mean,
I feel like
injury.
we need like like a C-SPAN representative down there with all their charts and like, now here's a chart of this, and
Now,
it's so off there. Big kick, little kick. Here's how many he made. Look, I'm just like, I don't really care about any of that anymore because Jake Moody's not on the team and he couldn't make any kicks anymore, so it was over. Like it should have happened during preseason. We should have won by 2 scores. See, even my son is saying it was out there. You could see that it was that Jake Moody needed to be off this team. I'm pretty sure my son could have gone out there and kicked as well as Jake Moody.
Especially the one that got blocked, at least.
I'm saying.
But I understand what Kyle said, and I said this on on Sports Idiot Nation, which comes out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we just released our latest episode, and I talk about this that because Sports Idiot Nation isn't geared for 49ers, so I had to go on record and explain because the guys on that show were like, dude, seriously, why did you keep Moody so long? What's the deal? Because they don't follow all the pressers and all that. So I had to go on Sports Idiot Nation and say that Shanahan didn't want to get burned like in Washington when he was a coordinator, and he said why. Well, he said Washington.
Was it Washington? I thought he said it was Houston. That
he
it was early on.
That
they let a kicker go because he got the yips and the guy ended up,
he made the Pro Bowl and was the highest paid kicker.
Was really great. Like,
and so he was thinking of that.
I get that. Yeah. I mean, I understand all that. Like, man, this guy has such a big leg, and if he can sort everything out mentally, it's going to be all the way down there. Cornelius, you're showing up this time.
Yeah, coming in. He says, do you think the game winner in the preseason saved Moody into the start of the season? I will say yes, because knowing what Shanahan said about he didn't want to let a talented guy out of there because of what happened in Washington, I think that is what made him say like, hey, maybe he's back. Maybe he'll be good because this guy is talented. I think so. Personally.
I think it made him think, okay, he's not in his head because he was able to handle the pressure. Because that was as high pressure of a kick as he had since last season. And then obviously when you miss a 27-yarder, you go, no, these should be automatic makes. And it felt like the block kick, like his approach was a little slow on that. And so it felt like he wasn't trusting the whole process. Now, I will say on the block, some of that's on our game goat, Jake Tonjes. He's got to squeeze that down. You cannot allow you block inside out on field goals. It's very much like pass protection. You're going to block inside out. Make somebody take the longest path to the ball. And so they absolutely plowed on Matt Hennessy. And it wasn't the guy that was over Matt Hennessy that came through. It was somebody who came behind that. And so like Jake Tonjes has got to get an arm at least on him and slow him down. That didn't happen, but it also looked like Jake Moody's approach was a little slow. I'm not 100% an expert on special teams, but that's just what it looks like to me. You got my phone?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Man, I'm glad that's over though. The Jake Moody, was unbelievable. Callie's checking in, remembering that game in Cleveland where I was at, and I sat next to George Odom's now wife. And I thought from the angle, I thought he made it, and I was like, "Why is the crowd celebrating it?" Like, it was just rough. That day was certainly rough. The weather was crappy. Brock slipped, the ball slipped, and all that. That was
It
bad.
didn't
But
slip. He closed
whatever.
off his front hip and he yanked it left. I've
No,
gone over.
no, the one where it literally slipped out of his hand. What about in Cleveland? Remember?
There was one. It looked like he tried to pull it down and then it slipped. But
And we're
he had the
blaming
pick.
the
He had
bad
the pick.
weather, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he had the one pick that he threw. He was targeting Juwan Jennings, and it didn't make it in. Apparently, yeah. What's wrong with Bluey? Anyways,
Yeah, Bluey.
he loves him some Bluey. He
And
loves him some Bluey.
he can't hear anything
No, he
I'm
can't hear you.
saying since you're in the headphones. But
Yeah, but he loves him some Bluey. He got himself some Bluey juice last night. Did you get some Bluey juice?
yeah.
No, you're focused. Oh, you wanted puzzles. Okay. He said bye-bye to Bluey on there, and he's on some puzzles. He wants my pen now on my phone. So there you go.
So are we ready
Double duty over here.
for predictions, Johnny? If not, Cayman's Island podcast is going to have a conniption if we don't get to it because we made him wait.
I will say, I plan on doing another broadcast live on Assist. The link is in the description. So I had a number of people ask me that in the comments last week. The link is in the description to my profile. You can go there, sign up, subscribe. It's just like YouTube. It's a free subscription. There's no, like, you don't get in there and it's like a week free and then you must pay. No, it's not like that. You get in there. It's just like a platform, very, very similar to YouTube. You get in there, your sign up is 100% free, always will be free as far as I know. And you can go to my profile, and just like you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can subscribe to Live on Assist. I plan on going live there. Again, I probably won't be in at the start of the broadcast. I might be about 15-20 minutes late. I usually work a little after noon on those days. So I'm going to try and get over here and get the broadcast up and running and be ready for that. But my prediction, and I'm going to get people all fired up again, is if Brock Purdy plays, we win 27-13. I saw your face. I saw your face. We win 27-13. If the Big Mac plays, I think we win 21-17.
So look, I'm just saying 20-14 Niners, no matter what the situation is. And that's pretty close to, wow, I'm pretty close to a lot of people. Cayman's Island says
Cayman's
24-13.
closer to me. I said 27-13. And
You gave you gave two different scores.
I said if Brock is playing.
No ifs, ands, or buts. No, look at the chat. No one else is saying if. They're just giving their one score. No, not letting
Adam,
you
remember
out.
the chat's like 12 to 15 seconds behind.
There's
Take that as live
doesn't
news.
matter. They're still saying only one score. They're not saying if then.
Oh my goodness, Adam!
They're just giving one score.
Adam,
just one.
I'm sorry. Two. I shouldn't have given a caveat. I mean, look.
Yeah.
Do you really think that Mac Jones is starting on Sunday?
Yes.